Welcome to Master the Game. I'm Juice, and today we're going to be talking about a Kickstarter going on right now called Tiny Library. So let's get started. So today we're going to talk about this Kickstarter and the different RPGs in it. Now I'm not going to show you guys all of them. If you want to see some more in-depth coverage of it, you can head on over to my TikTok where I actually talk about some of the cards a little bit more in depth and I show them off a little more. So I've got some of my favorites picked out here. This is basically half the deck that's like my favorite. There's 50 RPGs that are in this. It's a deck of 50 single card RPGs from dozens of different creators. I believe one of them is on 2 cards front and back. There's a couple of them that they're literally one side of the card. So again, they're really cool, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this. Now, I'm going to tell you which ones are my favorites. I'm just going to go through the titles and possibly some stuff about it, but I'm not going to tell you how to play it necessarily. So the first one I'm holding in my hand is called The Traveler's Tale. Basically, you're going to come up with these different things on the front. Then you're going to tell stories about adventures you guys went on as an adventuring party. So the idea is that you're all part of an adventuring party and you're retired adventurers sitting around a campfire talking about old times and things like that. You're going to roll to see if you succeeded, and at the end, someone, is a ghost. In other words, one of you died. So again, it's really interesting. I think you could do this with old player characters in your groups and things like that. And I think it could be a lot of fun, and you could use this over and over again. The next one is called Crazy CEO Pitch, and the idea is you are pitching something to a CEO, and he reacts pretty over the top, including things like firing you on the spot and things like that. You're going to roll for the success of your pitch. And just have fun role-playing it. I think this one sounds really cool, and I would love to play it. The next one I have here is called The Tiniest Wizard. Tiniest Wizard, you can draw your wizard. You basically need a dictionary where you're going to place the card. You're going to take either the word above it or below it, and that's your first spell, no matter what the word is. And then you're going to do that again on another page. Very, very interesting. You're going to answer things like, why did you become a wizard? And, there's other questions and other things on here that are kind of like your prompts. Again, another really cool game to play. The next one, this is more of like a gag gift that I really enjoy. This one's kind of like when someone introduces themselves, you pretend to be their dad. But rather than just pretending to be their dad, you have 6 different things you can roll for on the back that you say to them. So you say, hi, insert their name, I'm dad. And then while they're confused, you roll a d6 and you read one of these. I'll read one of them to you. Tell them how proud you are of them. So just some really funny things. Pretty much a single-use thing on each person you do, or I guess you could do it to your friends too, just randomly act like that. This next one, you're going to roll dice. You're going to do what's on the card. Very cool. Not going to get into that one. I don't even know what the name of this one is. It doesn't have a name, but it's got a dragon on it. I think it might be called 7. I don't know. We'll just call it Dragon 7. I don't have a name for it. Next one is a farm card. So basically you're going to roll for different outcomes and prompts as it pertains to farming. So for example, one of the prompts is on the first one. You're going to roll a d4. One of them was, some of the seeds seem magical, but you're going to elaborate. And there's other things on the back too that you're going to roll for as well. Again, fun game that I think could work really well for world building or other things. The next one is Mecha Football. You basically just use this as a paper football. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in school, we used actual paper footballs to play football. But yeah, still really cool and works really well. So, boop. All right. The next one is What Lurks in the Dark. So this one is really fun. There's different prompts for each one. So the one is, what is coming for you? The second one is, what do you have to defend yourself? Now there's options here. So what I would recommend is you write these on a piece of paper. You slide, or a note card. You slide it over to the person next to you. They will then come up with a story based on the things you chose. So again, sounds really cool to me. I think that'll be a lot of fun to play. Next one is Wallet Dungeons. Basically, you roll dice and you create a dungeon. A very cool thing, and I think that would be a lot of fun. It'd be cool to do that behind the DM screen even. Next one is Pocket PI, which to me seems a little bit like playing Clue on a card. So again, if you like Clue or things like that, that might be fun. There's some other games that are investigations and stuff in this deck, but that's I believe the only one I pulled out as one of my favorites. The other ones, though, seem just as cool. So if you're interested, again, check this out. This one is called Bonfire. So this one has, you're going to roll dice, a d6, and then you're going to narrate it. So for example, if you roll a 2 on it, it's who is a character you have met. And you just continue to roll dice and do this going around the table. Really cool to me. After describing 6 topics, the connection is lost and you are left alone with the crackle of fire. So yeah, I don't know. Looks like a good one. Next one is Free Traders. This one's a little more in depth. Not only do you go through and do the prompts, but then you actually get into role-playing. This could be used for a campaign, a one-shot, a series of games. That one's got some depth to it. Looks like it could be a lot of fun. This one also has a little bit of depth for a fantasy game on a card. It's called Liches and Loot. You can choose your race. You assign a 1, 2, or 3 to the 3 stats. You write 2 words about you, 1 positive, 1 negative. You write 1 motivation, 1 phobia, and then you start with a certain amount of health. Then you roll for your weapon, you roll for your armor, and then you start with a certain amount of equipment. And then it's got the rules on the combat and things like that on the back. So again, this is a really cool one called Liches and Loot that I think you could have a lot of fun with. The next one I think is really awesome. I'm a big Superheroes fan. The very first RPG I ever played at the tabletop was Heroes Unlimited and Riffs and Palladium books and all that. So to me, I just love superheroes. And this is basically you choose 3 powers, and then the person next to you is going to tell you where you are at. And you then have to choose or role play out how you used your powers in the scene. So again, a really cool one. And the last one is something that I actually want to do with my children. And I'll tell you about this one. This one's really easy. It's an arrow. And the directions on it, and on the back, it's another arrow, but no words. The directions on it say, throw this card in the air. Follow the arrow as far as you can and repeat. Invent your own game with it. So I'm going to do this with my kids. I'm going to take them to a park or a big open field. I'm just going to throw it and tell them they have to go and pick it up. And whoever picks it up gets to throw it the next time. And the only rule is you can't be the same person to pick it up consecutive times. So we're going to come up with some fun rules. I got 3 kids. We're going to have some fun with that. So those are the games that I chose as my favorites. But to give you an idea of what else is in this deck of cards, the stack is like this. Tons and tons of games. Itsy Bitsy Spider. You've got Magna Effectus Parvomotus. Welcome to the Never Do Well's Guide. Initiate. Oraheim. Tidying. A GM-less micro RPG about how we connect to the things in our lives. The Last Hurrah. Moshex. Moshex is actually front and back 2 cards. The next one is something about a coin. Piece of Fate is the name, I think. Awakening Sleep System. Guns and Guile. Your Lamp Corp business card, and it's got a bunch of rules on the back of it. Sun Z. What came through the wormhole? Who came through the wormhole? To Catch a Killer. So this one looks really cool. So again, another game that I think if you like investigations and stuff like that, you'll probably like that. Several Days of Signs. In the Stars Tonight. Disillusion. Peril and Risk. Business card bookmark character generator. I am not your friend. In fact, I am Tilda Swinton portraying your friend. And yeah, it goes on to a bunch of stuff. Decks of Doom. It's a character sheet. The back has rules for how to play it. Now We Raid. So that's got some fun stuff. That's a little bit in depth. Magpies. Lake Town Blues. Strands of Fate. Strands of Fate has Medusa on the back. Cool. The next one is Whale Ship Essex. So it's got little hex maps and stuff on the back. The Twin Towns on the Sea. Ladybug of the Queen's Guard? I don't know. I don't think I've read that one. Itsy Bitsy Spider. Finger Gun Standoff. Finger guns. Come on, this is awesome. A room in a pocket. Basically, you create a room, and then on the back, you create an inventory list. The Lion's Court. Flyers. Drink Up. Acrostic, a tiny character creation game by Megan Cross. The Sphinx of Omelan, a meta RPG. I really like the colors on this card. Like pastel, and yeah. So that was the tiny library. I hope this sounds interesting to you. Go check them out on Kickstarter. Head on over and support it. Again, it's a deck of 50 single card RPGs from dozens of different creators. It's on Kickstarter right now for the next 12 days till I believe September 11th or September 12th. So go check it out. You won't regret it. There's a lot of quick, simple games. These are great for one-shots especially. Some of them you can get a lot more use out of than a one-shot. And some of them you just might want to play over and over again. You can play them for a very short amount of time. Some play for a long period of time if you want. So again, it's a lot of fun. It might inspire you to come up with some real cool stuff for your own games right now as well. So I highly, highly encourage you to go check this Kickstarter out. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.